Hey, what's happening, gang? Gonna try this vlogging thing, talk about some card sets, just try to get some discussion going about some of the sets that I enjoyed as a kid. I usually blog about it, hadn't had time to blog, so we're gonna try to put some videos up and talk about some sets. The first one is 1990 Donruss. A lot of people will remember 1990 Donruss as the catch-up set, something like that. I was 13 when 1990 Donruss came out, and I have had a love-hate relationship with it since then. I loved it when it came out. Then I kind of went up and down with it for a little while, and then I've come back around to love it again. 90 was a good rookie year, first of all. You had, it's the second year of Griffey and Sheffield and Randy Johnson, but it's a rookie year for Juan Gonzalez, Sammy Sosa, Bernie Williams, Larry Walker, Delano DeShields, people like that. So it was a fun rookie class. And 90 Donruss was a big set. It was 716 cards, I believe. And, it had your normal Donruss backs that we had gotten used to by 1990. The puzzle in the set was the Yastrzemski, which I've shown. But 90 Donruss had a lot of cool things about it. As a kid, the first thing that I thought was cool was it had the commissioner, Bartlett Giamatti. I thought that was cool. I don't know why. As a 13-year-old, it was kind of cool to have the commissioner, in the set. And so when I pulled it, I always thought it was some kind of special insert type card. But it has all the stars. I ripped a box of this last week. I just kind of run through a couple of big names. Obviously, back in '90, Roberto Alomar was a thing. Sandy Alomar Jr. was a hot rookie back then, as was Steve Avery for the Braves. Another rookie that year was Joey Bell, which he went on to be Albert Bell and did not want to be called Joe anymore. Craig Biggio, his second year, Wade Boggs, Barry Bonds, Bonilla, Brett, Ellis Burks. One of my favorites from that year, obviously, is going to be Francisco Cabrera, who got the clutch base hit in the playoffs against the Pirates to score Sid Bream. One of the things in this set was it reminded me of when the Oakland A's wore those yellow mesh type jerseys, because Canseco's in it, and also I took a picture of this last week, but Carney Lansford was in it as well. I hadn't seen those uniforms in a long time, so seeing those again was pretty cool. You had your All-Star cards in 90 Donruss that were notated by the star, and then on the back it just gave you the stats for the All-Star game, as opposed to the stats for the seasons, like Jose Canseco here. Diamond Kings was another, obviously a common entry in Donruss. At that point, I've got some in here I'll get to in a second, but you had the Delano DeShields rated rookie, Galarraga, Ron Gant, Glavine, Greenwell, another rookie I didn't mention earlier, Marquise Grissom. The Expos were loading up at the time. Marquise would wind up in Atlanta, but they were loading up at the time on some great young stars. Bo Jackson in the set. I always like to get a Bo Jackson. Now, this is with the Diamond King that year, and there are a couple of Diamond Kings with errors. One of the things about this set is there's a lot of errors, which, surprise, surprise, it was 1990. Some of those were Diamond Kings with the incorrect backs on them. I know Nolan Ryan had a King of Kings with 3 different backs on the cards, and so there's a lot of misprints, missing the period after ink and things like that I've never really paid attention to some of that stuff. But there are a couple of major errors we'll cover here at the end. Dave Justice rookie year, for a Braves fan, pretty sweet. Mattingly, McGriff, McGuire, Kevin Mitchell, which was a guy that I really enjoyed as a kid. Murphy, another rookie, the big one that year, John Olerud. He was highly sought after. Dean Palmer, another rookie that year. Raines, Cal Ripken, and for instance, you got the Ripken here, and you could get the Ripken base, the Ripken All Star, and the Ripken MVP, which I did all in one box. There was Nolan Ryan, and then there was the Nolan Ryan 5,000 Ks. You know, commemorative card. This was the King of Kings for Nolan, and as you can see on the back, it does have that. I also have one that has this on the back of the King of Kings. So that's one of the errors that you can find in the set. Sabo Sandberg, another rookie that year. Deion Sanders, who would also wind up with the Braves eventually. Benito Santiago, as I mentioned earlier, Gary Sheffield's second-year card. Then there was the all-time great Mike Schmidt, which was notated down on the bottom. Ozzie Smith, Smoltz. Here's the Sosa rookie. He and Olerud and Justice, those guys didn't get rated rookie status quite like Greg Vaughn did, and Robin Ventura. One of my favorite Diamond Kings in the set, and it's just because it pops for me, it really looks good, was the Dave Stewart. Really great drawing, but the colors look great, and it just kind of pops with that red border for some reason. Some of the Diamond Kings this year were not my favorites, but that one was a big one. Jerome Walton. Everybody from my era remembers Jerome. Then you had Todd Zeal, who went on to have a very serviceable career. Then you got the error cards, the most sought after error in the set. And I've never actually pulled one out of a pack until last week. I've got several of them, but I don't remember ever pulling one out of a pack. And since then, I've pulled a bunch of the correct versions. But it was the Juan Gonzalez reverse card. If you look at it, he is right-handed, and he's batting left-handed, and the 19 is also backwards. So the Juan Gonzalez actually pulled two. One of them was severely miscut, as you can see from the backs as well. But the Gonzalez was a hot chase card back then. They corrected it, but if you were able to get your hands on some of those early boxes, the Gonzalez was there. And like I say, I think it's tougher to find than people think it is. Obviously, 90 Donruss, they say, is still printing, but that error card eluded me for a long time. So it's not like they just pop up in every box that you open. Now, one that's more common, and for a Braves fan was always fun to pull, was the John Smoltz MVP card, which if you know anything about pitchers, Braves, 90s, that's not John Smoltz, it's Tom Glavine. Now the back is for Smoltz, and the front obviously has Smoltz's name, but it was a picture of Glavine. There is also a corrected version of that one that has Smoltz on it. But those are kind of a couple of examples of errors that were in the set. Now there were some other insert type things in this set, some parallel type cards. One was the aqueous test, which was the same basic card, but it had this glossy type finish on the front, and on the back, it would say across the back, it would be like a stamp that said aqueous test or something like that. I think I'm pronouncing that right. But it's sort of like a test card. There's rumors to be like 2,000 of the card of each. There was only 264 cards that got the test, and there's about 2,000, 2,500 of each one of them. So they're pretty rare for 1990 and hard to find. The rumor is that they were put in packs. I've never pulled one. I do have a couple that I've bought outright on eBay or card shows and things like that, but I've never pulled one. It's possible with all the boxes of 90 Donruss that I've opened that I have pulled one before and never looked at the back of it and got rid of it, which would be a shame. But I do look at them now and study those pretty good. There was another test issue that had blue borders and white borders, which, not to be confused, the blue borders also was used for and baseball's best that year. But there's another issue that has some blue test issues and white test issues. And then you had the baseball's best. So Donruss was a mainstay in the hobby by 1990. It was one of the big three, big four, before Upper Deck came in. The big three with Fleer and Topps. And then it became one of the big four with Upper Deck coming in. And then obviously in the 90s, things started blowing up and you had sets coming everywhere. But Donruss came into existence in the early 80s. Well, not into existence. I don't want to explain to you the whole history of Donruss, but it came out with Fleer in 81 when the Topps lost the exclusive license, or Donruss and Fleer were able to print baseball cards. But I enjoyed Donruss, enjoyed 90 Donruss, still do. Like I say, I went through some periods where I was like, I was sick of looking at the red border, but it's still one of the sets that always takes me back to being a kid, and I enjoy that rookie class. I like looking for the errors. It's just a lot of fun, and I bought this box off of eBay for $23.50 shipped. So I mean, it was, for today's standards and cards, it was dirt cheap, and it was a fun rip. Got a lot of engagement on Twitter when I was sharing some of the pictures. So it's a conversation piece. It's a fun set, and they're readily available, like I say, because I think they might still be printing. But I'm gonna cover some other sets. I'm gonna cover a football set next. I'll cover 80s and 90s. We'll look at all sorts of basketball, baseball, football. Might even slip some wrestling in from time to time. But figured I'd talk about some of my favorite sets and some of the sets that carry a lot of memories for me, and just put them out here instead of putting them on the blog for a little while. It takes a lot longer to write a blog than it does to do this 10-minute video. But I hope you enjoyed it. Have any questions, comments about 90 Donruss, just pop them in the comments below. I like to respond, so I check them. But anyways, look out for vlog number 3 coming up. It'll be a football set, but we'll cover it soon. Thanks, guys. Peace out.